So welcome everyone. My name is Nancy Moore. I'm the Director of Programs with Africa Fire Mission. It's good to see familiar faces and glad to have you all join us today. Today we're going to be talking about engaging the community and around fire prevention and some strategies for that and places to do that. So we'll be doing that. Please introduce yourself in the chat as we go. So that we know who's here and what everyone is doing today, where you're from. Also, as we get started today, just a reminder that we do not provide certificates of attendance for this training. However, we will provide at the end of the year a report of your attendance to you. So looking forward to that for everyone that's been participating. So let's go ahead and get started today, and I'm going to pass it off to Jose, who's our instructor and encourager today.
Ooh. Thank you so much, Nancy. I truly appreciate. And today I'll be the trainer of the day and also the encourager. And I guess I'll just encourage us in regards to today's topic that whenever you go to the community, you really have to be ready. And by you being ready, it doesn't mean preparing, like today you're going for the community fire sensitization, you get ready now. No, it's a preparation that starts even about 4 to 5 days prior, if you have the tools. But if you don't have the tools, you need to prepare even like a month. You prepare to buy, you go to the procurement if it's to your boss to approve and things like that. And such is life. Life, you need to always get prepared. Yeah, you need to be prepared even when you're going to respond to fires. Yeah, that's why you have to put your tunic in the right place, your gloves in the right place, so that when you're called for a fire, you really don't go like, hey, where's my stuff? Who took my boots and things like that? Yeah, it's the same thing with community fire prevention. So I'd encourage us to always be prepared prior to the main event of where you want to go and serve. So we shall jump right into our today's topic, and I'll request Nancy to put up the slides. Oh, great. Those are the slides. Thank you today. Thank you. My name is Firefighter Jose Njoke Emwe Ngunjiri, fondly known as Jose. I serve with Africa Fire Mission as the fire safety advocate, and I work in the Mathare Valley. But from time to time, I'm invited to go to other places, other communities to get to serve there. So next slide, please. So as the topic says, we shall be involved in community engagement. Today we're going to learn about community engagements and the dynamics around it. So basically, what is community engagement? Yeah, this is a process of working collaboratively with and through groups of people affiliated by geographic proximity. Yeah, people who live closely knit together. Those are the people you work with collaboratively. Yeah, you get to involve them, you get to work with them towards bringing about a behavioral change. Next slide, please. So there are some principles that govern community engagement. You just don't wake up one day and say, hey, I'm going to teach people about fire prevention. Yeah, hey, I've been seeing fires in my community, and so I want to go just and attack them or teach them about community fire prevention. There are some rules or there are some principles that you need to follow. Yeah, one of them is you need to prepare adequately. Yeah, before addressing issues affecting the target group. All right, you need to prepare adequately. What does that mean? You need to go out there and find how these people live. Do they have a community leader? Or how best can you get to approach them so that you can be able to address that issue? Yeah. So another principle you need to realize or you need to put in place is, as you do the preparation, you encourage collaboration. What do I mean by that? The people in the community may be like a community champions. You need to involve them, maybe a chairman in a community, in a cluster. And as you know, guys, in Kenya, we have a cluster system called the Nyumba Kumi initiative, whereby there's a chairman who takes care of about 10 households, not necessarily 10, but at least 10 or maybe 15 houses. And this chairman knows each and every person who lives there and encourages the neighbors to know other people. So you need to work with those teams. Also, another principle you need to do is to be open to learn from the target group and adjust your teaching strategy. You might be wanting to go teach about a certain topic on fire prevention, and you have a lesson plan laid out to the letter. Yeah, you don't really need to be so rigid about it. I'd encourage us to be flexible and be ready to learn from the community, be ready to learn from the leadership of that particular area. Yeah, from this, it will help you. You might find even your work becoming much easier. Next slide, please. So even as you do the principles, as you check on the principles, you need to really be open of what you want to achieve in the community. Yeah, this will result to you being given trust by the community. Tell them why you are there. And this, I put it as a point because you need to let them know that you are on their team. Yeah, you are there to sort out a certain matter. Yeah, for example, if it is electrical fires happening within Mathare area 1, for example. For example, in Mathare, we have several areas from area 1 to area 10. So in area 1, there's a lot of illegal electrical fires, for example. So how do you get to approach that matter? You know, so be open with them that you're not here to disconnect the electricity. You're here to advise them probably on the right wires for them to use so that they may not cause any fires or any dangers. For example, when they touch the iron sheets or things like that. So make sure that you be open with them. Be clear. Another point is be clear on what impact you need to bring and also have an action plan to what you've taught shall be followed through. Yeah. What I meant by this is you need to really be clear on the topic. Yeah. For example, if it is maybe in area 3 in Mathare, I'm just giving random examples. This is not the actual thing that happens. If it is in area 3 Mathare, which, for example, has an issue with gas explosions, yeah. So the impact you need to bring is you need to tell this community that, hey, by the end of this lesson that I'll be teaching in the next 1 month, I need to see less gas gas explosion fires, liquid petroleum gas explosion scenes. Yeah. So from there, you work with the chairman of the Nyumba Kumi, that cluster, as I talked about, on them helping you follow through of what you've taught in the lessons, either in that one lesson or in the consequent lessons throughout maybe 2 weeks or a month from now. Why this is important is for you to be able to let go and let the leadership take over. You don't want to be the go-to person every time danger comes. You need to actually have somebody who's taking over after you have taught. Yeah. The only thing that you might need to do from time to time is to always call the chairman and ask them, hey, are the people following through? I need to come visit and see if whatever we taught is actually being enacted. And this you can actually do a home visitation. Another principle that you need to put in place is involve the leaders or community champions in concentrated trainings. What I meant by that is you need, that is if your fire department has the budget for that. You can actually call these people separately and get to have maybe a 1 or 2 day training on exactly what your vision. You actually cast your vision to them. You tell them, hey, this is what I'm all about. We are from X, Y, and Z fire department. And we have noticed that there's a lot of electrical connection, illegal electrical connection fires or illegal liquid petroleum gas fires. And this is actually what we need to achieve. Through that, you'll find you achieving much more than when you come just without any information, just boom, you know, without info. I mean, you just attack them and tell them, hey, this is, I'm a firefighter from X, Y, and Z fire department, and what I want to teach you X, Y, and Z in that community. It will be so easy for you, and you will be easily accepted by the community. Next slide, please. So, what's the aim of community engagement? Is it necessary? Yeah, why get involved in doing all this? Yeah, and it is really simple. Yeah, I've decided to put it as simple as it can be, so that even your fire departments that you serve in you can easily explain to your fire chiefs or your battalion chiefs. And the aim of community engagement, if your fire chief or your leadership asks you, you just give them this statement. It's keeping the community safe through education and advice. Your job as a fire safety advocate or the community fire prevention officer in your fire department is to educate the community, is to advise them on things that they need to do for them to prevent fires. And you know what? Fires can never ever be 100% eliminated. But the truth of the matter, they can be reduced. This one time, one firefighter, we had a conversation with them, and their worry was, hey, if you teach these people how to do fire prevention, and there will be no fires, that means we shall not have no jobs. Yeah? We shall be transferred to other departments. Well, for me, I was like, no, that's not true. Yeah, you can never run yourself out of a job, you know. In fact, your job will be so much, you'll actually be designated to, your leaders will actually tell you, hey, whatever you're doing, could you please go and teach more other smaller regional, groups, now these Nyumba Kumis and these clusters. Yeah, so what are the education lessons that you might teach? They might revolve around cooking area safety. You've seen here, I've not mentioned the kitchen per se, because sometimes in our, like in the community that I serve, in the community that I serve, you find that it's just one room. They don't have a designated kitchen. So you find that they have a kitchen area, yeah, maybe just a kerosene stove or 3 stones for them to cook, yeah. So that is their kitchen. So it's a cooking area safety, yeah. Another thing that you can educate and advise them on is use of lanterns and candles, yeah. I'm giving you practical examples of what happens to me, what I teach in Mathare. So for you, you can actually get to design it in your own way. Another thing that you can educate in keeping your community safe is on things like safe electrical connections, yeah. So these are the few lesson ideas that you might get to have. Next slide, please. So in community engagement includes and not limited to, yeah. Community engagement includes these examples, and it's not limited to these examples only, yeah. There are so many examples that you cannot even end, yeah. So one of the things that you can engage your community is through reach out programs, yeah. Which are these reach out programs? They can be home fumigation activities involving firefighters and community members, preferably from an organized community-based organization. You remember some time ago, I think in 2019, as firefighters, we engaged in fumigation activity. And before we engaged into this fumigation activity, we did a ground survey. We went first of all to the community leaders before we engaged the community members directly, yeah, because it's a very sensitive engagement. Can you imagine somebody who's a stranger entering into your house and fumigating? So, and they never seen you. So you need to have a community-based organization. You need to work with people who are known in that community, yeah, and identify yourself as a firefighter who serves in that area, yeah. So in this particular case, we were serving with Kiambu Fire Brigade, yeah. So we identified ourselves as Kiambu Fire Brigaders, yeah. And the reason why we actually went to do that fumigation activity was very interesting, because in that particular area, fires were starting because people were really saying that their houses were infested with bugs, yeah. So they would leave their lanterns on, or they would see a bug going in their clothes and maybe try to reach it out and maybe push out the kerosene lantern, and the kerosene lantern would fall on the seat or on the bed, and there the fire starts, yeah. So we were dealing with the root cause. The root cause was the bugs were the ones who are causing all these accidents, yeah. And those are one of the community engagements you can do. Fire evangelism, another reach out program. Fire evangelism is really talking about what revolves around fires, yeah. This can be on safe electrical connections. You can do a distribution of fire brigade number, amongst other discussions. And these discussions can be on how do you, when there's a fire in your house, which exits can you get out from? Yeah. Apart from that door, is there a window that you can actually get throughout? Things like an evangelism that you can start off. Do you know, for example, what to do when your whole body is gets to be on fire? So you have an opportunity to talk about stop, drop, and roll. Another discussion you can bring about is crawling under smoke. Yeah. So this fire evangelism, you actually are seated maybe in a house or maybe in the marketplace, and you can get to talk to these individuals or a group of people seated around maybe the boda operators, the motorbike operators, yeah, and you can talk to them about those items. Another reach out program that I found really interesting is engaging in sport events between firefighters and the community being reached out to, yeah. And this is just to bring a cohesion. You've seen here in Kenya in particular, there's fire engines, they have grills on them. And you know, those grills are basically because people throw stones at firefighters. They never understand what involves putting out fires. So with these sports events, you can actually get to have an opportunity to explain to them what firefighting is all about, what we are all about. It can be a football event, it can be a volleyball event, a very inexpensive event. You really don't have to go off your way or off your department's budget to actually do this. Yeah, you can just pick up a Sunday, tell the community, say, hey, we'll have a football match between firefighters and the community. And during break time, you have a team of firefighters who are going to teach stop, drop, and roll. Yeah, so those are the reach out programs you might need to engage in. Next slide, please. Another thing that you might need to, other ideas that you can engage the community is through the cluster meetings. And what I meant by this is the Nyumba Kumi community barazas that I've also mentioned there. Yeah, these community barazas, people come to discuss issues on maybe security in their area. Maybe there's what we call it, a blackout for 3 weeks. So the chief of that area, the administration chief of that area, calls every all the community to come and discuss all that. So you can request for just 2 or 3 minutes to talk about fire brigade, and also you can have an opportunity to distribute the fire brigade number. Yeah. Another way that you can get to be involved in the community engagement is through television interviews. Yeah. However, this is a little bit sensitive in the sense that you need clearance from your department. Yeah, because I've come to understand that in a certain department, there's people who are just for communication. Yeah, so you need to know, can I have clearance? I've been invited, for example, in this X, Y, and Z TV station. So are you comfortable me talking about X, Y, and Z? If it is a yes, you've gotten clearance, you can actually go there. Another way is through radio interviews. Yeah, there are so many firefighters who are around us who've gone for countless of radio interviews. Yeah, so, but then as I said, get clearance from your bosses or from your fire station. Yeah, so that you don't get in trouble. Next slide, please. So this is just an example of me being invited at a Rotary function. And it was an hour presentation from 6:30 to 7:30. It happened in 7th August 2019. Yeah. So they told me, Jose, could you please come talk to us about home safety awareness? Yeah. And I obliged to that opportunity. I said, hey, that's a super opportunity. And guess what? I got all this information from the Africa Fire Mission page. Yeah, this page, and I got that data. It was just a 1-page data that I got to download, and I talked to them, and it really, really bore a lot of fruit. Yeah, so when you get to have such opportunities, reach out and go and do your best. But before you go, make sure that you read extensively on that topic. Yeah. Don't just say yes to a topic that you don't know. Maybe nuclear science fires, for example. Yeah. If you go to, can you explain about nuclear fires? Yeah, in this particular conference, you better be careful. Don't just say yes to every opportunity. You really need to be so calculative. Yeah. So for me, on home safety awareness, I have read extensively about it. And if any question comes through to me, I can always get to answer. And also be open about it. Don't go like yes that you can answer all questions. If you do not know an answer to something, tell them that you're going to research it and you're going to get back to the leader of that particular group. Next slide, please. So there are some strategies that you need to engage your community effectively. Which are they? Use tools that the community can relate with. Example, kerosene lanterns, local cooking pots, candles, overloaded multi-plugs, bad quality wires, and things like, I have something here I can show you, regulators. Yeah, this is a gas regulator that I usually use in the community. I've noticed that right now there are so many liquid petroleum gas fires, yeah, and they are caused by people not knowing how to connect the regulators. So I had to get this particular tool for me to actually go out there and teach them how to do it. Another thing also I got as my tool that the community can actually identify are this pipe. I don't know if you can be able to see. This is actually a pipe that is connected, or a hose that you can connect onto the regulator to show them how it works. Yeah, how it works. So you need to have these tools and show them practically. Yeah, don't just say, you need to have a good hose pipe. So you need to show them practically what a good hose pipe is. Yeah, so it needs also cooperation from your department. All right, your fire departments really need to be very cooperative. So like for this one, I had to get the best quality. This is called best quality Euro gas. This is actually one of the best in the market. Yeah, so you invest in good quality, because after the session, they're going to say, could I please get to take a photo of your what do you call it, of your hose pipe? Yeah, and when they take a bad quality one and an accident occurs, they will actually say, hey, we got advice from X, Y, and Z fire department that we should buy this pipe, you know. So invest in a good pipe, because you're not going to be using it, it's going to be there forever. It's good that you get to do that. Yeah. So another strategy to engage your community effectively, get the community to participate, encourage dialogue. Let them get to talk. Let it not be, what do we call it, a lecture. Like, for example, right now, it's kind of like I'm doing a lecture, yeah? Let them have an interaction. And one of the examples that usually I do, I usually go and talk to them and ask them, in a group of maybe 50 people, I ask them, who has the fire brigade number? Yeah. And you find that, oh no, I usually don't start like that. I usually go like, does the fire brigade come in time to put out the fires? And that's a dialogue that I start. It's not a very comfortable one because the answer usually is no, they don't come early. And then I pose the second question. I ask them, who has the fire brigade number? And true to my word, not even one person among the 50 has the fire brigade number. Yeah, that was about 3 years ago, but now it's a different story because right now people have the fire brigade number. And I've made printouts of the fire brigade number. This is in Nairobi, a fire brigade number in Nairobi. It's just a simple photocopy. And I give them this fire brigade number, yeah? And from there, I tell them things like, when there's a fire and you call the fire brigade, we shall arrive on time. When you see a fire, you call. We shall not charge you a single coin. Yeah, and that has really brought very nice feedback. I get a responsive feedback from them. Another strategy to engage your community effectively is to involve and include the cluster leaders and chairmen. Yeah, these Nyumba Kumi people. And do you know where this Nyumba Kumi came from? It came from the police service. After there was a lot of insecurity here in our communities here in Kenya. And this Nyumba Kumi initiative was an initiative to make sure that you get to know who your neighbor is, where they work, and also even their children and things like that. That brought a lot of people getting to know each other, and it will reduce a lot of insecurity. So involve the cluster leaders and the chairman. Yeah, next slide, please. Now, you need to prepare adequately. You remember what I told you about? Community fire prevention, you just don't show up. You are the face of the fire service, not only in your county, but in the whole country. The whole country, or you're a representative of all the 47 counties. So when you go out there, just don't show up unannounced or unprepared. You're not only going to embarrass yourself, you're going to embarrass the fire service. It's absolutely serious. So you need to sit down with your bosses or your leadership in your fire department and tell them you need things like cooking pots, the sufurias there. You need to have a fire blanket, all right? You need to have cooking oil. You need to have MECO cylinders, the liquid petroleum gas cylinder cylinders. And this is particularly, you customize it according to what your community needs. You might find this MECO cylinder, you actually don't need it. Why? Because maybe in your community, people use just the 3 stones. So when you bring the MECO cylinder or the liquid petroleum gas cylinder, you will not really be making sense to your community. Electrical appliances. Yeah, you can get electrical appliances, maybe like a multi-plug, like this one. Yeah, and show them why they need not to overload it. Yeah, you need to have a megaphone. Invest in a megaphone like this one of mine. Yeah. You need to have a megaphone. I remove the batteries because I don't want them messed up. Yeah. You need to have a megaphone, so that also you need your voice in place. Yeah. You need to have fire extinguisher. Sorry, I wrong spelling there, and the fire extinguishers, not in each and every community you need a fire extinguisher. Yeah. And in my community, what I actually use sandbags. And these sandbags, I've been able to modify them from the cement bags that they use in construction. Yeah. So I encourage people to have sandbags in their home. And I actually do not go and put sand or soil in the bags. I give them the empty bag. And with the follow-through leadership, the community champions, remember the previous slides? The community champions and the Nyumba Kumi chairman, these are the people who are going to help me see that the community has actually put sand or soil in the sandbags that I've given them for free. All right. And for me, actually, for information, it didn't cost me anything to actually get these cement bags because they're actually thrown away. So my duty, I took them and I went and washed them and cleaned them, and they became as good as new. Yeah. So those are the tools that you need. And it's not limited to this. There are so many. In fact, it can take so many pages. Next slide, please. So as I come to a conclusion of today's presentation of community engagement, these are the examples of the activities that that are involved, that you can engage in. Yeah. And as you can see on my left, or on the left of the slideshow, you see the firefighter there, who's actually me, with children. Yeah. So with children, you need to really think very fast. What are the topics that the children can be engaged in? And as you can see, there's a small girl over there without school uniform, who's about maybe 3 years or 4 years. They might not understand everything, but they will get to remember what the firefighter taught them. Yeah. And also you notice that I'm having my PPE on, my full PPE, from gloves to boots. Yeah. This is just a representation that you need to go out there and give to the community. If you do not have the PPE, it is still okay. You can have a t-shirt of representing your fire department. Yeah, a t-shirt. If you don't have a t-shirt, it's still okay. You need to get an overall. Yeah, an overall at least. Some form of identification that people might know that you're a firefighter. So do not worry. It doesn't mean that since you do not have PPE like I do, you don't go to the community. No. You go to the community with what you have. Sawa sawa. And on my right of the presentation, you're seeing the fumigation activity that we did. Yeah. Here we had confidence to go from door to door because we had the community-based organization go there 2 days before and tell them that, hey, on this particular day, we are going to have visitors from the fire department come and fumigate our homes for free. All right? Fumigate our house for free, whether you have bags or not. Yeah. And who will not want to hear a free service of fumigation in their home? And even as we did this, we had the fire brigade number stuck on each and every house in that community. It wasn't an easy job, I must say. It was extremely, extremely, extremely tough. But as I said, and as I always repeat, which will actually take me to the next slide. Next slide, please. I always repeat this, and I'm always reminded by my leaders that you never work alone. Together, you achieve more. On the previous slide, there's a person who's doing the fumigation. There's another one doing the fire evangelism. And there's another group that was out there who are doing the stop, drop, and roll. All that, you cannot do it alone as you in the fire service. Yeah. In fact, the truth of the matter, you cannot be sent to a fire scene when you're alone. Why do you go with a team of at least 4 people in a fire truck? Yeah, it is because there's one who's a driver, there's one who's the captain who's going to give you the instructions, and there's a branchman and every other people who has the designated duties. So even as you see here in this photo down here, there's one firefighter who has the microphone, the megaphone. Yeah, they have the megaphone with them. There's another one holding the electrical stove. Yeah, in this particular community, they do not use liquid petroleum gas cylinders, the MECOs. No, they do not use that. What is common is that coil, electrical coil. Yeah, so you come up with things that they can identify with. Yeah, so you see over here, that firefighter cannot hold the microphone and still hold the electrical coil cooker. Yeah, and at the same time, that particular firefighter who's holding the electrical coil cooker cannot go and do the chip pan fire demonstration. Yeah, and as you can see on the chip pan fire demonstration, that firefighter is fully donned. I repeat, fully donned. Do not do this activity, number one, if you've not been trained. And number two, if you do not have full PPE. This one actually is, I really recommend and advise people to have a full PPE. And if there's some other fire departments that don't allow you to get with your PPE outside, you might need to talk with your supervisor or your fire chief and explain to them the importance of why you need to have the full PPE and why community fire prevention is vital towards reducing fire. So that's what I had for you today. And I trust and believe that you got something out of this. And thank you for having me. Back to you, Nancy.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jose, for an excellent presentation. One piece that I just want to point out, Africa Fire Mission recently got some information from one of the burns hospital in our clinic in Kenya, and they have seen a significant decrease in injuries related to burns as a result of the community fire prevention work that's happening in Mathare Valley. And I think that that is just significant that you want to see fires reduced, but also this is impacting reduction and saving lives and reducing injuries when we're doing this. So really important to get out into your communities, engage them. It will keep you safe as a firefighter because communities will have an increased understanding of what your job is and how you do your job. But also it will reduce the fires and it will reduce injuries and deaths related to fires. Okay, so I want to just thank everyone for attending today. We'll continue to offer these weekly trainings. Next week, we'll actually continue with a community-based theme, and Brad Bance will be our instructor. He will be talking about taking these community events into schools and talk about inspections in schools or assessments in schools, and also conducting fire drills in schools, and how to really work with teachers and community leaders to get that work done. So thanks everyone for participating. I'm going to put the link for the evaluation, and also I think most of you are already in our networking group, but put that link there in case anyone is not. We'd love to have you join us at any time in our networking group. Post your activities. I'm also going to put a link to the training materials that you can get from Africa Fire Mission specific to community fire sensitization. And we would love for you to access those and use them in your activities. If you're not sure what to say, those materials have everything that you need in order to conduct a training. So, Jose, I will pass it back to you for tea time.